This is the Tough Tite riser system. This is a 12-inch riser. Okay, you see that's where the screw goes in from the top, and it lines up with this slot right here for the base, the bottom ring, which looks like that. Now, this has a slot. If I put a tape measure in there like that, you can see how far the metal clip is, how far it goes in. Okay, now this piece right here, you can see it pretty much very close to almost bottoming out in the bottom of this trench when you put it in. It's also in the very center of that trench. So when it goes together, you can see that they pretty much touch. So it seats all the way, maybe a 1/16th or a 32nd of an inch from the bottom. Now when you put the screws in, the screws are very long, and the screws go in this way, and then it goes in that slot down there, but you don't want to screw them all the way in. This is what I just did, and the first screw I did, I screwed it in, and I didn't crank it down. I basically stopped when the head touched the edge of the plastic. Had to back it off a little bit because it actually almost poked a hole in there. Okay, so I would leave the screws up. Don't screw them all the way in unless you make them shorter somehow. Maybe you can take a grinder and take the point off. I don't know, but screws are quite long. This is the sealant rope that comes recommended for the system. It's basically almost like a putty or a Play-Doh in the shape of a rope. You can tear it pretty easily. Okay, the sealant rope goes right into that groove, and as you know, the other piece will push right in the middle, and it'll almost bottom out, maybe a 1/16th of an inch or a 32nd. So just squash it. Basically, you'll have a really good seal between the two. Basically, you just pull the paper off and you feed it all the way around. When I got back to the other end, I just overlapped it about that far and I just ripped it off, so there's a little bit extra there. And when you push them together, it just makes a good seal. Okay, so I got it in the groove all the way around. There's my little overlap, which is fine. It'll all squeeze out, but don't underestimate how much of this sealant rope you're going to need. I've done 2 bases, only the bottom ring, only the bottom ring to the riser, times 2, and I've already used up half of my rope. I don't know, you can see that when I bought it, it was out to here, and now it's out to there, so I would definitely buy more than one. Okay, so I have the ring on the floor, and I've got it set on crooked so I can line it up. I want to make sure that the screw hole lines up with the place the screw goes into, so just slide it into place, and there we go. Now I'm going to put the lid on so I can put some weight on it. So now all I have to do is try to get it right the first time. Line them all up. Then I'm just basically gonna put some weight on it so I can force that seal to close that gap all the way. I'm just gonna sit on it, then I'll put the screws in. Okay, I've got all the screws in all the holes. Now this is the one that is the most off. Most of them are pretty much dead on, but there's a couple of them are just a little off. So I'm going to start with them. Maybe the screw will help push it into the right place. Go at an angle, so. There it goes. Okay, I wouldn't screw it all the way in. I would pretty much get them all at least started before you tighten any one of them. Okay, again, resist the temptation of tightening that all the way down. You see, I could have tightened it down a lot further, but you can see it went in too far. And if I went in any further, the tip of the screw would have come out of the plastic right there. So don't tighten them all the way. And that's my advice, at least.